Peace and power, family. I had a buddy of mine named Jason ask me a pretty good question, and I thought it was rather thought-provoking. And so I told him I would actually do a video to explain my perspective on it, some fact, some opinion. And I don't particularly care to argue somebody's opinion because it's part of what defines who they are as a person. So I try to stay away from arguing somebody's opinion. Those can go on endlessly. But when it comes down to statistics or facts, things that are tangible or credible references, then we can do that as well. But for this particular topic, it's not about proving a point. It's just responding to his question. So for anyone that may see the post or see this video and decide they want to insert statistics or they want to discuss numbers and whatnot, have at it. But just a small gist of it. Excuse me. I had posted something in regards of the Crypt Keeper. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Tales from the Crypt, but that was a real person. I don't know if that person's actually passed away now, but that person suffered from internal combustion. And there's actually a book, I don't recall the name of the book off the top of my head, but there's a book on it that has documented cases of people that have suffered from internal combustion. And what it is people that have very, very small traces of melanin, oftentimes European or the white race or the Caucasians. They suffer from internal combustion. If you notice, when they're out in the sun for too long, their skin will turn red. Some of them end up getting, I believe it's called melanosis. You have blotches of pigments on your skin. You have sun cancer, sun blisters. Those things happen, and very rarely will this happen to an African or somebody from an old Mishan descent, black people, Indians. This is rare that will happen with us. And so Jason, he had mentioned on my post, he said, "I'm glad that such a strong people don't suffer from internal combustion, but slavery, ghettos, and incarceration seem to be weak points of the African American condition. You have any thoughts on how to shift the system?" Well, he goes on to say, "Currently, the criminal justice system's indirect aim is to keep the African American household, single-parent households, at the detriment of black youth. Collectively, we as people, not only African Americans, need to strengthen our inner city neighborhoods, police our own communities, instead of senseless police killings of suspected this or that. Change starts from within and accepting the issues within, other than blaming this system or that era in history. What do you think?" Well, any thoughts on how to shift the system? Absolutely. As far as myself being a black man, my concern is with black men. Also, in polarity of that, my concern is with black women. So that is my first and foremost concern, is myself. I pay homage to my mother and my father. Those are my king and my queen. Those are the ones that brought me into this universe. Those are the womb of my mother is the tunnel that I came through. That was my portal to this dimension. So whereas energy is never lost nor destroyed, my soul and spirit had to start from somewhere. And because it started from somewhere, it was here before my physical container was here. So I thank my mother and my father for being able to produce me. Well, in order to shift the system, we have to look at what sustains this earth. And without the sun or fire element, there is no life. Without earth, of course, there is no life. Without water, there is no life. Without oxygen, there is no life. Or let's just say air. So those four elements, you cannot have life. Without the fifth element, this is just my opinion, even though there's a movie on it. Without the fifth element being a woman, there is no life. It's just how it is. And also, without man, nowadays, there is no life. So we have to understand what really sustains life on this planet. And that is the things that I mentioned. And when we take into consideration how the system is set up against us, we have to understand who is our immediate surroundings. Is it the neighbors next door? Are they friendly? Are the police in our communities, are they friendly? Are they helpful? The city council members, are they friendly? Are they for the people? And I'm not just talking about black people, but are they for the people of the city or the community? We have to look at the people that's on the school council, the school board. Are they for the children or the youth? Are they about real education? Are they about uplifting? Then we have to look at the public school systems. What type of programs are they actually teaching? Are they teaching these students how to apply their knowledge once they leave from that classroom? Do they talk about just budgeting and financing but not giving examples of how to budget and finance? Are they talking about, let's just go with one of the college courses, human anatomy, but not teaching you how to apply these things? So you can break a bone, go to a doctor, and not be able to tell a doctor, what the problem is, but you're going to let the doctor tell you what the problem is, even if that's not even really the problem that you have. So now you have multiple doctor visits. So, without straying too far away, we have to understand what is in our immediate surroundings. So, again, as a black man dealing with the system that is set up against black people, I have to look at the immediate foundation, which is myself. Am I healthy? Because without a healthy mind, you really can't make healthy decisions. So you have to look at your different types of health: your mental health, your physical health, of course, your spiritual health. Are all three of those balanced? There's a lot of people that have strong body, but they have a weak mind. There's athletes that commit suicide. There are healthy-looking people that have serious issues going on, so to say. Then you also have people that are mentally disabled, and they have physical disabilities. So you have two things that's against them, and oftentimes these people do not actually have a spiritual tuning. So there's those three things that work against them. There's different ways that those cards can be played, but you do understand what I'm saying, is that you have to have those three things in tune in order to really get that vehicle going where it needs to be. So the first system that we have to start with is our physical system. We have to start taking in better nutrition. Well, actually, let me say, we have to start with our mental system. We need to get the knowledge. We need to get the knowledge in us of what's healthy for us. We need to start understanding and accepting what is truth. We need to start putting down these fairy tales. We need to do away with strict religion. There's nothing wrong with having a spiritual foundation or spiritual base. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone should have a spiritual base. But when you're beating people over the head with a certain spiritual doctrine, and you're telling them that they can't get anywhere in life unless they have a specific God before them, or that they can't go to the next level of bliss, or let's just use the common term heaven, unless they go through a particular person. And so now you have this mass group of people that are left to believe that they can't get to this blissful state unless they go through this one person who they have very little knowledge of. So we have to have knowledge of a certain person that we can't even see who this person is. We can't even converse with this person. We can't have a conversation with this person. But it said that we can talk to that person. But they don't talk back to us in that voice. So we have to start with the first system, which is our mental system. Get knowledge and get more in tune with what needs to go into our body. We need to start feeding our bodies energy, and there's different ways you can do that. You can do that by eating raw fruits and vegetables, supplement with herbs, really cleansing the body out. Once your physical shell starts becoming more pure and your mind starts to become more pure, you can actually have more pure thoughts, and thoughts are energy, and thoughts are actually what manifests into the universe and it comes back to you. So, quick insert. The reason why I'm wearing my head covering is because once you get the frequency going, you want to trap the frequency into a smaller area, a small container. But you also want to use natural light, which is the light that's shining on me now, to help emit some of the frequency. So it's kind of like a filter, a frequency filter. So once you start getting your frequency building and it's transmitted to the universe, those messages come back to you. And that's how you start to develop a flow. So if you ever wonder why you can be having a good conversation with somebody and it feels like you've known them forever, and the conversation just keep on going forever and ever and ever, it's because there's this frequency between the two of you. Maybe you guys even met in a past life, but there's a frequency exchange between the two of you that's being sent out into the universe, which allows you guys to recognize one another, and it comes back to you. So there's a familiarity that's there. But I'm moving on to the second system and trying to keep this video short. Once the body is pure and it builds its natural integrity through exercise or yoga practices or Pilates, then you're able to have a greater sense of spiritual awareness. Naturally, this happens. It's very difficult to have a weak body and a weak mind and have a strong spiritual system. It is very difficult to achieve that. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but it's very difficult to achieve that. So when the body is strong, in which the body is the temple, in which we have two temples here, and anytime you have the temple, there's a spiritual base, there's a spiritual, I'm trying to think of a better word for it without trying to beat you guys with my spiritual faith. In the temple, there's a higher power. In the church, there's a higher power. In the mosque, there's a higher power. In the temple, there's a higher power. Well, between my two temples and my full temple, there's a higher power. So we understand the first system being the mental system. We understand the second system as being the physical system. We understand the third system, which is probably the most grand system, is the spiritual system. So with that being said, we need to be able to shift our systems on ourselves first. We have to take care of home. We have to take care of the temple. We need to clean the temple out. It's guaranteed, without doubt, it's guaranteed that once you are on the same accord, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you'll be able to get along with other people that are also mentally, spiritually, and physically in tune with themselves. That's just how it is. It's like you ride down the street in your vehicle and you pull up next to somebody who's playing a song that you like and their window's down. Immediately, you guys can vibe at a red light. It's because at that point, both of you guys are in tune with the same frequency, which is what music is. It's a frequency transmission. And just so happens, music does bring people together. Some people it's rock music, some people it's rap music, some people it's funk, neo, soul, pop, whatever genre that you choose. But there's that frequency that is emitted that brings people together. It's familiarity. Well, here's something else to also consider is when people are in the church and the organs are playing or the piano's playing or there's particular instruments that are played, some people say that they feel the spirit come over them. Multiple people at the same time. And for other people, there's multiple people that do not feel this spirit overcome them. But it just goes to show that there are certain things that will move more than one person. So being spiritually in tune does a lot for a person. So what we need is, within smaller communities, we need knowledge of self. We need knowledge of our own people. We need knowledge of the truth of who our people were. We did not come from slaves. We need to be untaught that. We need to be unlearned that. We need to be deprogrammed of that. But we also need to be taught what happened before slavery. We need to be taught our full ancestry, even if we're not black. Now, if you're of European descent, you need to be taught where you came from. If you are of Iranian descent, you need to be taught your heritage. Arab, you need to be taught your full ancestry. And a lot of you guys will be surprised where you came from. Your origin. It just so happens, black people, the African, we have no specific origin on this earth. Therefore, we are from out of this earth. We are the extraterrestrials. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Every other race on the face of this earth has an origin on this planet, except for the black people. Let's use the term black loosely in this case. But whether you're a descendant of the Omishans, the Anu, the Nagas, the serpents, whichever that that you came from, you're not from this planet anyhow, black man, black woman. You're from outside of this world. So that's an honor in itself. But we need to have the knowledge to be able to recognize that. That way we can see one another, and we can pay each other with love. If you ever notice, when you a lot of black men, when you come past another black man, you give the nod, or you give the nod down, or you give the nod up. That's because you're communicating from here. That's one of the ways that we used to communicate, which is from the pineal. So if you was to put your finger here and on your temple and follow your temple all the way back here to the end of that temple, right there is where your pineal gland is. And when you start to get in tune mentally, physically, and spiritually, you will be able to communicate from here. This is why women, every man's first teacher, because of your mother. This is why women can look at a child and they can tell whether a child has an earache, a bellyache, whether he's got if he's hungry, if he's distressed, if he's got a bad or just a bad mood and just being fussy, if he's sleepy. It's because they can read that facial expression. They can tell based on the frequency of a baby's cry whether or not this baby has an earache, or if he has a bellyache, or any of the things that I mentioned before. Women are so in tune with humans in general. They understand these things. But this is also why women are mentally stimulated before they are physically stimulated. You see, they can see the expression through here. They can pick up on that. It's just a natural gift that women have. So oftentimes what it takes is for a woman to step up to the plate and decide how the spirit is going to be used within the household. A lot of men don't want that responsibility. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't want that responsibility. But this is also why when you come across a lot of black women in the community, one of the first things that they want from their man, single women, let's just say that, single black women, they want a man of God. First and foremost, he has to be a man of God. That's what you hear a lot of these sisters say. They want, and there's nothing wrong with wanting a man of God. That just translates to someone that's upstanding, someone that's a leader. Because when we think of God, we think of God as all-powerful, almighty, a leader, elite in a sense, knowledgeable, can teach, can provide by any and all means. When we think of God, we think of grand. When a woman wants a man of God, she wants a man that's going to be able to lead her and the family they produce into the right direction. But the thing is, it's through the woman that all these things are possible. Because that man she desires, he came from the womb of a woman. He was taught, raised by the woman. The woman has never neglected the man, especially the black woman. She has never neglected the man. And so this is why, brothers, we need to be able to engage women from here up. We need to be able to come to women and have a simple conversation, laugh, joke, be playful in conversation without having to talk about sexual things, without having to try to entertain her body. Because she understands what she can do. She knows what she's capable of. The black woman knows when she first sees a man whether she wants his money, whether she wants his car, whether she wants him to buy her a car, a house, a home, or just have his baby. She knows good and well what he's about when she first sees him, because she knows how to communicate immediately. A woman can see a man from across the bar, 60 feet away, and just give that look. And women, y'all know what that look is. She can give that look, and to him, he can register that frequency in any way he wants to. He could take that as she wants the business, or maybe I should approach her, or she's being promiscuous and I need to stay away. It depends on how in tune he is with himself. Because if the man is not tamed within himself, if he doesn't have his systems tamed and trained, he can misconstrue that. Now we have a perpetual hit and quit scenario, which further puts the black community behind. A black man is supposed to have greater responsibilities than let's just have sex. He needs to be able to teach these women, that any woman he comes in contact with, any child that the black man comes in contact with, if he is not teaching them, if he is not elevating, if he is not uplifting them, he is doing them more harm than he is good. And he is, in a sense, considered a detriment. He needs to be taught better. Now, this doesn't mean he needs to be executed. This does not mean he needs to be put in jail or behind bars, unless he commits a crime, of course. Rightfully so. Not a petty crime like a tail light being busted. No jail time for that. But going back to Jason's question, how do we shift the society into our favor? We get ourselves first. Train our three systems, make them strong. Integrity on all three ends and all three spectrums. Everything is trifold. Everything happens in threes. That's just how things are. Like they say, a Father, a Son, and the Holy Spirit. We have a mother, a father, and a child. Legislative, judicial, and executive. You have Europe, you have the United States, and you have District of Columbia. You have those three governing systems there. You have red light, green light, yellow light. You have the dispensations of as above, so below, as within, so without, and then you have I am that I am. There's those three that's there as well. So the next thing that you do is you build upon bonds with people that are like-minded with you, because if they are like-minded, then oftentimes they will be like-bodied, because you guys share the same thoughts, ideas. Then you may have the same physical tendencies. You might like to exercise. You guys might exercise together. You guys can learn from one another on how to exercise, how to keep the body or the temple strong. You guys might have a similar faith-based spirituality. Something else that you guys can consider is also buying black. When I say buying black, I'm talking about black-owned businesses. Now, because black-owned businesses seem to be so far spread out these days, a lot of people don't want to have to do the driving to a black-owned business, because it's another 15, 20, sometimes 30 or 45 minutes away. And you go past these Walmarts, you go past these Kroger's, Dollar Generals, and these other businesses that are not black-owned, unless it's a franchise that is black-owned, which is very difficult to come across a black-owned Walmart. Let's be honest. And so the issue that we have in black communities is, yeah, we want to buy black and practice black economics or black economics, but the issue is black-owned businesses are so far out. So what we need to do is empower one another within our own communities. We have a lot of these truths at hand now. We have documents. We have some rights. We have liberty, which liberty is being able to do what you want to do within a specific parameter. Like you could do what you want to do within this box. Now that's liberty. We're given liberty for the most part as black people, but we're not given freedom. Now freedom is when you can walk some motherfucker, slap him in his face and say you're fired, and nothing can happen to you. He can't sue you for that shit. It's your product. It's whatever that you want it to be, and no one can take that from you. You call the shots. But that's what being a man of God is about. You call the shots. You do the dictating. You decide how far things are going to go. You decide when the buck stops. Okay? And naturally, women have always gravitated towards men of authority. They like that. Just so happen, even in some jobs, some women will be cool with the supervisor because she understands she's got a family to provide for, and she also knows that if she's cool with the supervisor, she's less likely to get fired. Now, there are men who do the same thing. But because of polarity, I have to acknowledge both ends of that spectrum. So we understand the mental, the spiritual, and the physical system. We understand the bonding system of partnership within the community. Honest partnership. This doesn't mean, black man, you go to a black woman and you decide that you want to get cool with her, talk about business, talk smooth, talk cool, and now y'all are having sex. That's bad for business. If it's going to be business, brother, train yourself, tame yourself to keep it business, keep it professional. This is how you keep great credibility when you do this. And that's the hard part. That's the hard thing for personal trainers. I'm a personal trainer myself, and with the hype of being a personal trainer comes, oh, you fuck hoes. You must be getting a lot of ass. That's not the case. That's not the case. When you're a personal trainer, do your job. Get these people results. They pay you to do one job and one job only, and that is to get them to their goal. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. Now, if you end up having to cross, if you end up having to cross boundaries with the client, you need to cut that tie before it even gets to that point. Cut the business aspect out, or pass that person to another trainer who is just as great as you are, if not greater, and save face. Yeah, you might lose out on money, but you're gonna save your own reputation. So understand that when it comes to doing business in the black community, we need to stop with the discounts. We need to stop with, we need to stop with the hookups. Now, discount responsibly as to not lose your business, but also in the black community, we need to show full support. So if I'm selling homemade socks for the wintertime, I'm selling thigh-high socks. I know women like socks. I know women like to spend money on neat stuff like thigh-high socks that'll keep you warm. And they cost $8 for a pair because they're hand woven, and I can only make a certain amount per day. So it's my time and energy. So I'm selling for $8 a pair. Don't come to me asking, can you get them for $5.50, or why are they so expensive? Or if you're going to support me, then you're going to support me. It's the same way as if you see kids at a lemonade stand, you're selling cups of cheap lemonade for 50 cents for a little cup. You're not going to ask a little kid, can I get it for a quarter? You've got so much more lemonade. Let me get that for a quarter, man. You wouldn't do that. So you won't cheat the innocent that way. Why cheat the full grown, full aware, the full knowledgeable that way? If I have a set price on something, if I'm charging $50 for a month or $100 for a month of training, why try to bargain with that? Knowing good and well you won't go to the European and ask for that same discount. You'll just take it as is because you understand how they do business. So we need to understand that system as well. When trying or attempting to practice black economics and supporting black businesses, we need to go ahead and do business. We need to do business, and we need to keep it business. And not just that, we need to keep it business professional. We need to keep it business professional. Don't come to these women, or don't come to these men, or if you're about the same sex, don't come to that person that's in business with your head turned to the side, with your hand like this, with your eyes extra low, doing all the lip licking and hand rubbing and this, that, and the other, and being smooth. Nobody has time for that in the business professional world. That is what shoots your reputation. It shoots your credibility. It tears up your rap sheet. And because of how word of mouth is some of the best business that there is, your business can run straight into the ground rather quickly. And that's not what we need if we're attempting to practice black economics, which is a good move for us right now. Let me see if I'm still following his question to answer. Shifting the system. Okay. Other ways to be able to shift the system is you don't have to cut off your European friends or your non-black friends. You don't have to cut them off, whoever you're associated with. You just change the dynamic of how you spend that money. Now, it's like how Ludacris has his own alcohol. Granted, some people like to turn up, as they call it. Some people like to get buck wild drunk. Some people like to black out, get drunk. And they'll spend their money on all types of liquor. If you're going to spend on type of liquor, why not get some Conjure? It's owned by a black person. Pause. I don't know if Ludacris owns that liquor. Let me just say this now. I don't know if Ludacris owns Conjure or not, or if he's just the face for Conjure. But what I am saying is, in essence, if you know something is black owned and you spend all of your money on the non-black owned product, why not shift the dynamic of that buying power into something that is black owned? I just use Ludacris as an example because I see him on the Conjure. What else is there? The total body, the partnership, the bonds, spending in black owned businesses, keeping things business professional, and voting. Man, that's a big one. Now, when it comes to the national voting, like presidential voting, I honestly, as an opinion, I honestly believe that there is no There is no black vote for that. I don't believe we pick the president at all. And I'm going to leave that there. When it comes to the city level where we live, those votes matter. Those votes matter. And what we need to do is get behind our brothers and sisters that are willing to actually get in office for us. And keep in mind, every brother ain't your brother. It's simple as that. Every sister ain't your goddamn sister either. But when you have an upstanding brother that's trying to get in that office and do something, and he has it written out and can show you that he's attempted to do something for the better of your people, y'all's people, support him. Support him. Sometimes it takes money to be able to run these campaigns. Sometimes you gotta come out of pocket. Sometimes you gotta show up at one of the meetings and just put your voice in there, or say, hey man, I understand that you're talking about implementing these types of specific educational programs for the youth, but don't forget X, Y, and Z. They could use that as well. That could be a benefit. It could be that one voice that they hear that serves as a catalyst for his campaign. Now he's got a broader message, something he might be able to really implement, or he could speak to the crowd that gets non-black people's votes. And now we've got our brother in there that's going to be able to do things to better our children. Because right now, as it stands, the leaders that we have, I'm just going to go and put a question mark there. What leaders do we have? We've got some awesome figures, but as far as leaders, I don't think we have that. But then the next question is, do we even need leaders? We are the extraterrestrials. We are the extraterrestrials. So do we even need leaders? Everyone looks up to us as it is. Point blank period. Everyone idolizes the black woman. Everybody. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about everybody idolizes the black woman. There's no way around that. You go to YouTube right now, you type in twerking, you won't find a black woman up there any longer. You type in twerking video, it's going to be a young middle-aged white female, European female. It's no longer a black woman up there. You type in big nice booty, it's going to be a European female. You type in beautiful women, it's going to be European female. You type in dirty hoe, you're going to see a black woman up there. You're going to type in fat ass bitches, PHAT ass bitches, you'll see black women up there. You type in anything that's derogatory in Google, it's going to show up predominantly black. It's going to have a couple traces of white women. A couple traces. You type in anything glorious or illustrious in Google, it's going to show up white women. That's just, it's the conditioning system that we live in currently. But it used to be twerking, black women. Now, if you ever ask anybody, if you ask somebody to pretend you're a black woman, what they gonna do? They're gonna roll their goddamn neck, snap a finger, and they're gonna be saying half the time, all that shit. You know how it goes. And girl, and girl. That's just how it goes. But this is what people think of us when they say act black. But when they want you to act like you're a black man, or pretend to be a black dude, the first thing they want to say is yo, and throw their hands up with bent fingers, imitating gang signs. This is how society views us, but we have to change and shift the system into our favor. We don't need a grand system. As Africans, we are tribal people. Our tribes don't consist of the entire goddamn nation. We have small little tribes, little communities. That's what we're known for. And that's just of Africa. But when you understand the extraterrestrials that came here, they actually didn't come to just one part of this earth. They were already everywhere. There were different types of extraterrestrials, and they were on different parts of this earth at the same time. And they all had. That's why you have different types of pyramids. We understood the power of pyramids, but you had step pyramids, you had flat pyramids, you had slope pyramids, you had mounds, you had different types of pyramids. So we all understood the power of pyramids and the frequency that can be emitted from the top of that erected pyramid. I'm not going to get into all that knowledge on here. So we understand the four. I think I gave four different systems that we need to shift. The total body, which is the mind, the spirit, and the body. The bond, partnership bond with somebody else, which could also go into accountability factors. We have the practicing black economics, buying power, and the fourth one being voting power. We have all of that. We set trends like no other. Black people, we set trends like no other. I mean, watch me whip, now watch me nay-nay. Worldwide, every fucking body's whipping in their name. My Dougie. Worldwide, everybody's doing that shit. You name the trend, black people on it. You name the trend, black people on it. We have so much potential. And the hard thing about understanding that we have so much potential is when you deal with the body, when you deal with thoughts, ideas, actions, you're dealing with energy. By any and all means, you're dealing with energy. And when you have potential, that means you have damn potential energy. That's like plugging in a damn iron, but not getting the wrinkles out your damn clothes. It's like turning on your vehicle, but you're not driving anywhere. You turn on your damn stove, but you're not cooking shit. And people are hungry. You're hungry. You're hungry for more. You have somewhere that you need to be, but you want to be presentable. Look at those three different potentials that are there. A shirt that's wrinkled, and you go sit in a car with an empty stomach. You're probably gonna have a bad day, buddy. But when you cook that meal with that stove that's turned on, you feed yourself a good breakfast or a good lunch. Your clothes are freshly pressed, and you get in that car. Thank God that car's operable and it works. It can get you from point A to B or A to Z. However you drive to get you to Z, and you fresh, get in your car and you get to where you gotta be. Man, there's no better feeling than being able to do for self. Man of God, woman of God. So look at the different energies that you have. I'm just going to give two of them, the basic ones. Potential energy and kinetic energy. Black people currently, we have so much damn potential energy, it's not even funny. We are in a stalemate, so to say. Well, actually, we're coming out of that stalemate. But we've been in a stalemate for so long because of the potential that we've had. And it's taken a person little by little to come around with kinetic energy and help get us moving. So, as established, potential energy is something that it gets hot, but it's not moving. You get the engine started, but it's not going anywhere. And fellas, y'all know what it's like when a woman's teasing you, but ain't no action. Nobody likes that feeling. No man likes that feeling of just being teased and not getting anywhere with that particular person. That's potential energy. Now that kinetic energy, you already know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about when there's that good friction between you and that significant other or that person that's in your life, you know, that special person or what have you. And you go from that potential energy and then things get into that driving force and now y'all are getting somewhere and y'all are, y'all skipping bases, holding hands. That's kinetic energy. That's the energy that we need in our society. That's the energy that we need in our communities. Is getting from here, talking about it, to being about it, to we about that. That's what we need, is that kinetic energy. And what it's going to take is for us to shift the systems one at a time, a little bit at a time. We are no longer in the age of Pisces, which is the age of I feel. We are now in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of I know. So it's no longer based on your opinion. It's no longer based on a religious belief system. It is based on fact. It's based on knowledge. This is the age of Aquarius. And this doesn't just apply to the monthly zodiac, but the full dispensation age, like thousands of years. And we're gonna, it's gonna be a shift. It's gonna be a huge shift. I just hope y'all know it. So I'm about to go and close this out. Just wanted y'all to know the ancestors are here. They are upon us. They speak to me on a regular basis. The Anu wanted me to let you guys know, don't be afraid. Everything that's going on right now in society is happening for a specific reason. Sometimes you have to have sacrifices in order for there to be change. And sacrifices are being made. We don't us as little people don't understand why these types of things are happening. But I'm telling you now, armor up. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Honor your emotions. Your emotions are actually facts. Do keep that in mind. Your emotions are actually facts. How you really feel on the emotional scale is something that's factual. If I slapped you in your face and this shit hurts, it's a fucking fact that that it hurts. There's no I think it hurts. No, goddamn it. If I slap you, if I rob you of something and you feel like you've been betrayed and I've been your friend for so many years, it's a fact that you are hurt. You're distraught. And you're probably in disbelief and so many other things, enraged, whatever the case might be. It's a fact. So learn to honor your emotions. Okay? Because those are facts as well. When we talk about opinions, about what you should do, what I should do, this, that, and the other, can't argue that. Also, the Anu, they wanted me to let you guys know to you don't have to worry about being humble at this point, because with melanin comes chaos. You know, keep your mouth shut when it comes to sensible things. Like, don't get locked up for saying to a police officer, "Get the fuck out of my face." Don't get locked up behind no dumb shit like that. You know, because they probably will try to lock you up nowadays. But with melanin comes chaos, and with melanin being black under a microscope, I've studied this myself. Under a microscope, melanin is very, very, very small, tiny, what appears to be black dots. And if we understand polarity, as above, so below, as within, so without, well, within us is these small little black dots. And as far into the universe as we can see, observable universe, it's black. Black liquid mass vortex. And with that vortex, it's pulling us in one direction. And within the galaxy, we're counterclockwise. So we have to understand that what's already within us is already out there. And what's out there is already within us. And this is why, black man, you need to respect the black woman, because inside her womb, that is a universe. Just like of the universe, they produce planets, and those are called astral bodies. The woman's womb is a universe and produces astral bodies. This is why we can astral project. We have everything that we need right here on this plane, on this third dimension. We have everything that we need right here, black man and black woman. And that is one another. One another. I'm out. Y'all enjoy.